What's going on, people? GrowDigi here, back again with another video, back again for another weekly market review. So today we're going to be taking a look at the charts on coins chosen by you guys. As always, if you guys want any charts chosen or any coins looked at, I should say, please just hit us up in the comments below or hit us up on Twitter. We can certainly have a look. So before we get started, all views and opinions expressed in these are for educational purposes only, should never be considered as financial advice, all of that, you guys know the drill. So let's kick off and get started. It's been a good week in the crypto market since we last spoke. I'm going to kick off with Bitcoin and have a look, see what the king, the Don is doing. So I'm going to start off on a weekly view for the Bitcoins, just to give us an oversight of what's going on, and we'll break it down from there. So last week we talked about this bearish weekly order block and the role it would play in terms of price movement and how price would react. So we talked about price reaching the mean threshold here, then reacting sharply and kind of retracing down. So if we look at that on a daily, let's actually see what happened in a bit more detail. So as we can see, price really kind of reacted nice and clean to these levels. Body and the wick really respected the order block open and mean threshold. Price moved down. Where were we? The 22nd was last week. So we talked about these. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. These lows here, underneath these candles, I mentioned that they're too clean, they're right for taking. There'll be a lot of stops under here, and just by eye I can see the level was around about 84.50. We then potentially talked about retracing into this previous level if we did break that. Now, just zooming in on this, I want to really explain how this mechanism works and why I knew with some confidence that this 84.50 level was right for the taking. So if you zoom in on an hourly, we can really see how clean these were. I think I was shocked in last week's video that they were exactly the same price. So what's going to happen is the retail trader, he's going to see that and he's going to say, yay, this is a sign of strength, my confluence, double bottom is strong, I'm going to long. The other thing so what he's going to do, he's going to take a long somewhere here or whatever, and he's going to put his stop under here. Now, more and more people do that. These stops then pile up here, so there's basically a big pool of liquidity. So let's think of it one of two ways. The guy's gone long here, or let's say he's gone long, and his stop is underneath these lows. So if his stop is here, he's going to have a sell order to execute on that price, and everyone's going to know it's sat there because it's just a logical level. So the liquidity maker, the market maker, the institutional fund, the average trader, if he's got any sense, what they're going to do is push the price under this level for the liquidity to basically get out of any opposing position they may have. So let's say the guy is short and he wants to start now looking at areas he can close his position. Well, he knows straight away that there's a pool of liquidity here of sellers that he can put his buy order into. So when you're short, you buy your coins, you buy them, and then you buy them back. The idea was you buy them at a higher price, you then dispose of them at a lower price. So there's pools of liquidity always sat under these levels. So cutting a long story short, price broke that pool, kind of took the stops. And then the logical level to run to would be the previous accumulation level that we mentioned. Oh, don't know what's happened there. Right, there we go. Previous accumulation that we mentioned. So this little area here, we could take this candle here as an order block. I think because there's 3 or 4 quite close together before the move up, we can basically just take these as one and just work off those levels. So the idea would be the bottom of this candle to the top of this one is a body to measure off. And there's basically a little wiki area to go off as well. So the numbers would be, 8,200 to just by eye, about 7,000, about 8,000. So, you've got a little range to work with. Now, price actually broke down to 8,216. So it didn't actually come to that 2,200 level, but this then sometimes show the value in potentially, kind of putting your orders a little bit ahead of time, and front running price a little bit and just kind of pyramiding down, so to speak. So prices then kind of reacted to that level and moved swiftly away. I think the thing that's really interesting and the thing that's really piqued my attention this week has been the surge of this candle through the mean threshold. So we've taken out previous highs. We've now kind of run these levels and these order blocks. So looking very bullish for the time being. Now you guys are going to say, well, what's the next target? So let's work that out. What we can do, because that order block is no longer valid, I'm going to delete that. Also going to delete this level as well. I believe that was a previous order block. Let me just double check before I delete it. Yeah, it was. That was actually the open. And let's have a look, see what the potential next targets are. So people can use all sorts of things for these. I'm just going to use my eye and use my sense. So the first thing we always do is mark out order block levels. So we can see the next order blocks are this one, 2nd of September, and this one, the 5th of August. I mean, these are two candles that are the next day. So you could potentially just take all of this as one range in one candle. So what is that? Opening on 9/5/20. Let's say the mean threshold would be about 10,500. So what I would do in this case is I'm going to look at potential ranges where this could go up to. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a basic fib and look for the 50% level and use that as some sort of confluence. So as we can see, that 50% level lines up at 10,149, potentially just call that 10K, just as an average or a rough estimate. So we could, roughly estimate, all right, the next area of price movement I want to see breached is this opening of this order block from 9,766 to its mean threshold, which is going to be sorry, my maths just deserted me. So $600. So around about 10,200. So yeah, lines up very nicely with this level here. So yeah, I mean that's Bitcoin looking ahead to the week ahead. Feeling quite bullish. One thing we did talk about when we started these market reviews was January is traditionally still a quiet month for institutions. People are just, think of it in your own personal life. You're coming back into work. The first week you spend back at work after New Year's, you're just talking about Christmas, what you got, your New Year's. Second 2 weeks, you're kind of thinking, oh, I can't be arsed. And then the last week of the month, you really start getting back into work and thinking, right, all right, I've got a lot of things I want to achieve at work now that my personal life's feeling a bit better. So, February is going to be a very interesting month. It will also be interesting to see how altcoins react as a result if Bitcoin continues to go up. So that's enough about Bitcoin for today. I'm going to move ahead now onto the coins chosen by you guys. As always, thank you for everyone who gets involved. Really appreciate you guys getting involved by choosing your coins. Let's kick off and get started. So the first coin I'm going to look at is Quant. And let me pull up my notes. So we previously talked about this returning to levels of accumulation before its big move up last year. What are those levels? Let's zoom out and zoom in. So looking at BTC like a wallet. All right, let's have a look. Let's go get the dollar one up. Right, here we go. So the levels of accumulation we talked about was all this level here. So like between $2 and $3, this zone here. Mark it out for you guys. So, okay, let me take this magnet off. So this zone here, let's do another one, and this zone here as well. Pretty clear. I mean, you can do that just by eye. So, I think last time we talked about this was about 2 weeks ago. So what would that be, the 15th? So yeah, I mean, we're about here. So I believe we talked about kind of looking at this $2 to $3 level as a level of reaccumulation. So if you're looking to get involved, you didn't get in this coin all this time, this would be an area where if you're fundamentally positive about the project, there's good things coming up, everything lines up fundamentally, you can now kind of look at your technical analysis and get your entry. So as we can see, prices moved away swiftly from that touch at $3 and now kind of raced away, especially in the last few days. We pretty much had like a 50% increase in the last since last Friday or Sunday even. Yeah, shit. So yes, last Sunday. So people are going to ask, all right, where's this going to go to? So again, just kind of taking a rough guesstimate by eye. You can see these levels of support here potentially turning into resistance. Again, let me just highlight these. We'll do these in red so we stand out a little bit. I think I've mentioned this before, guys. If there's ever altcoins with severe downtrends and consolidation periods in those downtrends before breaking down further, when price retraces back to those levels, you always want to look at, you know, an influx of sellers maybe looking to get back out at break even, especially when market conditions are like this with Bitcoin going up as well over the last couple of weeks. So this $5 to $6 area looks like potential area of resistance. If we break that 6, then there's another kind of range very similar to like that you can see here, here, and here. So again, this like $5 to $7 range is probably like, you know, an area of kind of resistance where, you know, if you are involved already, you know, don't feel any shame in taking profit. Price is not going to break the all-time high in a day or 2 days worth of trading. If it is going to continue to keep going higher, it will just be a very organic process where sellers get washed out. The more and more sellers get washed out, the less there is left, and prices will just rise quickly as a result. So quant, yeah, looking good. You know, probably missed an entry in terms of a daily time frame. You can also be patient and wait for it to retrace back to the $3 to $4 level and go from there. So that's enough about quant. Moving on to the next coin, which is Denarius. Remember mining this a couple of years ago when it first came out. So interesting to see that it's still out. Let's have a quick look, see what it looks like. Okay, so one thing I would say recommend when looking at altcoin charts, especially ones that have been out for 2 years plus or maybe even 3, zoom out. Let's have a look. So when we have the chart up normally, this coin don't look too bad. You zoom out, you then get a bigger picture of actually what's happened here and what's going on. So got price here at 8 cents at the moment. And as you can see, that's pretty much coming to lows. I mean, it doesn't even go back that far, but yeah, I remember when this coin was launched. Yeah, probably around this time, because I remember mining it in my house when I'd got some new cards. So yeah, you know, we're pretty much looking at all-time low prices right now. If we zoom in, you can see this has pretty much been like this for, you know, in this range for, you know, year and a half, something like that. You know, it's not looking too good for the immediate short term of this coin. Now, one thing I do want to mention about coins like this, I believe it's a masternode coin unless anything's changed since I last looked at it. The thing with masternode coins you have to be especially aware of is the emission rates on these things is insane. And when I say that, I don't mean, oh, it's very high in relative terms to this, this, and this. It's more the question of it probably costs about someone of $5 to $10 a max to kind of run up a server and have that masternode hosted and giving him rewards. That's usually a much higher cost than the mining for the coin itself. So as a result, anyone who gets masternode rewards just going to dump them because the cost for it is pretty much zero or very low. So just something to bear in mind. I mean, last thing I want to touch on in Denarius, because we can't really kind of say on the upside or downside without looking at the liquidity, the volume, and the order books. One thing I can say, looking at the volume on this is pretty much really low or non-existent. Now, I believe that this is one of the unfortunate victims of the Cryptopia hack, so it lost its biggest market. But yeah, even such, that's like been a year. I think there's plenty of chances to kind of influx liquidity elsewhere on other exchanges by listing. Or, you know, they're having difficulty in adoption of the coin because nobody is buying it, apart from the people who already have it. So, I mean, a quick scan on the average volumes on here, apart from this one kind of like period it had last summer, is, you know, the volume for the last 30 days is pretty much like $500 a day, if that, you know, sometimes even lower. So I guess there's not really much good things for me to say about Denarius. I mean, the only thing we can say is, you know, it's still alive after three years of development. It's still traded somewhere, so all is not lost. You know, areas on the upside will kind of be breaking this previous high. Yeah, I mean, even just this whole range here from like 10 to 20 cents, there'll be a pile of people who maybe want to get out at this level. So yeah, that's Denarius. Moving on to the next coin, I'm going to have a quick look at Crew coin, or Crown coin, not Crew. What's Crew? CRW. Now, anyone who remembers, it's an old school masternode coin, been out for a while. Again, let's zoom out on this bad boy and see what's going on. Wow, looking kind of dead still. But, you know, let's talk about it. So what's going on? So price is 6 cents at the moment. If you have a look, it's not kind of been that low since March of 2017. Remember this very, very, very well. So yeah, you know, kind of at its low for a long time. I mean, one thing that does look nice on this chart, it's got a very similar movement to Quant, kind of on an uptrend right now, even though it's a very slight one. Price has risen from a low 4 cents to 6, so 50% gain. On the upside, you know, we have got a whole range to work with here, very similar to Denarius, but I'm just going to be trying, you know, be a bit pessimistic here. Areas to the upside I can see would be a kind of test of 9 to 10 cents. See how it reacts to this previous support levels and if that turns into resistance. So potentially still some room to go on Crown. Without looking at the fundamentals, it's very difficult to kind of say yes or no about a coin just based on its technical analysis. But yeah, based on its technical analysis, I'll say yes, this looks good. So that's enough about Crown. And then the last one I want to just touch on, don't want to waffle on too much, is ABET. Now people are going crazy in the comments for this. So I had a look at this, and honestly, guys, I mean, again, without looking at the fundamentals, this doesn't look good to me at all. You know, big volume dump here could be a capitulation candle potentially, but it's not looking good, guys. I'm assuming again this is a masternode coin. You know, price has pretty much been on a downtrend for well over a year, well, coming up to a year. Been consistent downtrends, lower lows all the way, even when it finds consolidation. Support breaks that, even again when that happens, boom. So we're kind of, you know, on its last legs here. I mean, I don't know where this is traded, what the liquidity is like. Well, you know, it's not looking good, guys. If you're in ABET, you know, send me some info about fundamentals without me having to look into it. Tell me why you wanted me to look at this chart. Things aren't looking too good, friends. So yeah, we'll wrap it up for there on ABET, because I don't think there's really much I can work with apart from what I've mentioned, which is the price has come down a lot. So that kind of wraps up today's video, guys. As always, if you guys can like and subscribe and share, you know, be much appreciated. Coming up to 97 followers now, so reaching that big 100 mark. Guys could help push us over, we'd really appreciate it. For next week's show, I'm probably going to change these up to a Sunday from now on. Wednesday's a little bit awkward, and I just think Sunday's a better day for it. So yeah, may not be one next week, or if there is, I'll move it to the Sunday instead of the Wednesday. So thanks for everyone who kind of commented, everyone who liked, everyone got involved in the coins vote, and yeah, look forward to seeing you next week, guys. Take care. Bye bye.